Porsche just pulled off something almost no one saw coming. In a year when luxury markets faltered, electric car hype hit a wall, and global sales declined across the board, Porsche managed to sell more cars. On paper, it sounds like a runaway success. But that's only half the story, because behind those impressive numbers lies something far more complicated and far more risky. Dig a little deeper, and you'll discover that Porsche's strategy wasn't about playing it safe, it was about taking calculated risks in the face of global chaos. We're talking tariffs, collapsing markets, internal power struggles, and a pivot so bold it left even longtime Porsche fans raising eyebrows. And yet, somehow, they came out ahead. Was it brilliance or just good timing? This isn't just a story about numbers. It's a story about survival, reinvention, and the razor-thin line between dominance and disaster. If you think Porsche is riding high on easy wins, think again. Because what happened in 2025 could either be their most genius play yet or the beginning of their biggest gamble to date. 1. The North American surprise. Let's start with the shocker. Porsche's US sales went up way up. In the first quarter alone, sales exploded by over 40%, and they kept climbing into Q2. Models flew off the lot faster than dealers could stock them. But what caused this surge? According to insiders, it wasn't just consumer demand. It was a perfect storm. Loosened supply chains, price hikes that actually worked in their favor, and a US market hungry for performance SUVs and hybrids that still feel like classic Porsches. The American dream, Porsche style, was back. This wasn't just a fluke. It was Porsche leaning into its luxury brand image harder than ever before. Fewer discounts, more customization, and an aura of exclusivity that made people want in, no matter the price. For a brand that was once niche, Porsche in North America became a status symbol again, and that demand lit a fire across dealerships nationwide. But while America celebrated, the story elsewhere was very, very different. 2. China's collapse. In China, the world's biggest luxury car market, Porsche got crushed. Sales dropped a staggering 28 to 42%, depending on which quarter you look at. Why? The luxury sector in China is in freefall. Political tensions, new tariffs, and a wealth gap that's widening all contributed to a brutal slowdown. Porsche's China strategy, once their crown jewel, suddenly looked outdated, and investors started asking hard questions. Worse, Chinese consumers began shifting their loyalty toward homegrown brands that offered luxury without the foreign price tag or politics. Porsche, once untouchable in Asia, suddenly found itself trying to catch a falling knife. And as China cooled off, so did Porsche's global confidence. But Porsche didn't just sit back. They shifted gears fast. 3. The electric gamble. In 2025, over 36% of all Porsches sold were either fully electric or hybrids. And leading the charge, the new Macan EV, it accounted for nearly 60% of all Macan sales, pushing the model's total deliveries up 15% year over year. That's a big deal for a brand that's still balancing its gasoline legacy with EV ambitions. And it worked, sort of. While the Macan soared, the Taycan, Porsche's original electric flagship, saw a 6% decline, and the iconic 911 dropped even harder. Still, the Macan EV marked a clear pivot. It wasn't just about keeping up with Tesla or Lucid. It was Porsche saying, we can do electric our way. And fans responded, at least the ones who could afford it. But the question now is, can Porsche keep that momentum without losing the soul that made it legendary in the first place? Still, the electric pivot was just one piece of Porsche's puzzle. The other? Price. 4. Tariffs and the high price strategy. A major headache hit Porsche in 2025. US tariffs on European imports. These slashed 400 million euros off profits in just 6 months. But instead of panicking, Porsche played offense. They raised prices. In a move that could have backfired, the brand banked on its elite image to justify the markup. Surprisingly, buyers stuck around. North America didn't flinch. It's proof that, for now, Porsche's status can withstand even global economic punches. But raising prices while fighting off tariffs is a dangerous balancing act. It only works if the product feels unreplaceable. Porsche knew this and doubled down on personalization, performance packages, and making each vehicle feel tailor-made. But one wrong step, and that high-price bubble could burst. But even so, one market can't carry the whole brand, and the other numbers told a different story. 5. The Model Wars. Porsche's lineup became a tale of winners and losers. The Macan and Panamera, Both saw solid double-digit growth, but the Cayenne, a longtime bestseller, fell 23%. The entry-level 718 series dropped 12%, and even the legendary 911 took a 9% hit. Porsche fans weren't losing interest, they were just being more selective. It turns out, price hikes and EV shifts don't affect all models equally, and Porsche was learning that in real time. The problem? Porsche's lineup had become a reflection of its internal tug-of-war. Some models screamed future forward, others clung tightly to the past. Buyers noticed. And as the brand tried to please both camps, some vehicles like the 718 and Cayenne got caught in the middle. Behind the scenes, though, the real pressure was mounting from within. 6. CEO controversy and investor revolt expanded. While Porsche was juggling markets, tariffs, and tech, another storm was brewing: investor backlash. CEO Oliver Blume was doubling up, running both Porsche and parent company Volkswagen. And investors weren't happy. Many argued the dual role was causing mixed priorities, lack of innovation, and unclear leadership. They wanted focus, and some began openly calling for Blume to step down from one of the roles. For a brand that thrives on precision, even a hint of internal chaos could spell trouble. Blume's defenders claimed the dual role allowed better coordination between brands. But critics said it created conflicted agendas, diluted decision-making, and weakened Porsche's independence. As sales numbers fluctuated globally, shareholders grew louder, demanding a bold vision for the future, not recycled corporate strategy. What started as grumbling in boardrooms quickly made headlines, threatening to overshadow Porsche's success story with a narrative of uncertainty. Porsche found itself at a crossroads: continue riding the wave of short-term gains, or address the structural cracks forming beneath the surface. And while Blume insisted Porsche remained strategically aligned, investors weren't looking for alignment, they were looking for leadership. But even under pressure, Porsche had one last card to play. 7. Customization. Hybrids and the next chapter. Instead of going all in on electric, Porsche zagged when everyone else zigged. They're now pouring 1.3 billion euros into upgrading combustion and hybrid production, battery tech, and perhaps most unexpectedly ultra-customized models. They're betting on exclusivity and emotional connection, not just electrification. It's a risky move in a world that's still debating what the future car should look like. But if anyone can redefine luxury performance, it's Porsche. They've even teased new internal combustion variants with more personality, bespoke interiors, and options that rival super luxury brands like Bentley. Porsche isn't just selling a car anymore, they're selling a lifestyle, a statement, a rebellion against the one-size-fits-all EV future. And for now, it's working. And that leaves us with the big question. Yes, Porsche sold more cars in 2025, but not because everything was going right, more like because they were fighting harder than ever to stay relevant in a shifting world. Between tariff battles, EV struggles, internal leadership drama, and a collapsing China market, this wasn't just a win. It was a survival strategy in motion, and it worked for now. But here's the truth. Behind those strong sales are decisions that could define Porsche's next decade for better or worse. Will the brand's hybrid strategy pay off? Can they survive without China? Will customization save them or distract from bigger problems? This isn't just a car story. It's a story of identity, pressure, and reinvention. So what do you think? Is Porsche adapting brilliantly or just delaying the inevitable? Drop your thoughts in the comments. We'd love to hear what direction you think Porsche should take. Your insight helps grow this community of curious thinkers and car lovers like you. If you enjoyed this breakdown, hit that like button. Subscribe for more behind-the-scenes industry stories. And thank you for sticking with us till the end. You're the reason we keep digging deeper, and we'll see you in the next one.